Alemán, and the title of our presentation, a roadmap for the consolidation of accessible tourism destination implemented in Spanish destination. So she is a technical director of the Spanish representative platform for people with physical disabilities. She is an architect. She holds an MBA with studies in universal accessibility and design for all. And also she holds a master's degree in enabling technologies, accessibility, and design for all. She has been working in the field of accessibility and disability since 2004. She coordinates and develops projects that deal with universal accessibility in a number of areas: construction, town planning, tourism, public transport, and new technologies. She has been involved in editing of different publications about transport and accessible tourism, and has also spoken at numerous seminars, conferences, and training courses. So, welcome.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to introduce first my organization. PREDIF is the Spanish representative platform for people with physical disabilities. We work in all the autonomous communities and have 30 years of experience since our foundation. Oops, sorry. We are members of many work groups that work for accessible tourists, but I want to explain to you that together with other organizations that are part of ONCE Foundation, we created the innovative business group for accessible tourism and social responsibility in Spain. So the objective of this group is work, create some canals for work in between the public and the private sector in accessible tourism. What do? We have two aspects that we work. One is aimed for people with handicap, and the other is aimed for professional from the tourist sector. We organize holidays for people with handicap, and we represent these people in work groups and in several work groups that work for accessible tourists. Our vision about accessible tourists is that create a destination for all is like create a product. The first one, you have to know the needs of the potential clients. You have to ensure accessibility through the trip experience, to the whole chain experience, and you have to make a strategy that includes stakeholders, visitors, local authorities, private sector companies, and suppliers. Where is the roadmap that PREDIF use when we work in an accessible tourist project? The first one is the start with the organization of the public administration, business owners, and entrepreneurs. The second phase is adapting the exciting tourist facility and creating new accessible services. The third one is training of tourist sector professionals, and almost the last one is dissemination of accessible tourist destination. It's very similar about you talked before. And in every phase, we make this. Raise awareness amongst the private tourist sector, ensure compliance with accessibility. This is responsible of the public administration. The second thing is the destination should know if it's accessible or it's not accessible. So this is very important because the accessibility ensures the rights of people to leisure activities, to participate in leisure activities and enjoy their vacation. The second phase, it have to review the services provided at the destination are accessible or not, undertake corrective actions and ensure that compliance with accessibility legislation is met, create services that are aimed at people with disability, and have accessibility plans and protocol. This is management, manage the system. The third phase is training. Training in customer care for people with special needs, training in the accessibility of tourist resorts, training in managing accessibility, training in organizing adapt activities. The almost last phase is communication or dissemination. The first step should be create an accessible tourist guide for the destination, include information about accessibility tourists in resorts using pamphlets and promotional materials, promotion and web portals specializing in accessible tourists, for example, Enat Web or Pantu, or our web is dedicated to this. Promotion in organization with people with disability. In Spain, several organizations like ours organization organize holidays for handicapped people, so we want to know what offers are accessible for our trips. Promotion at tourist offices abroad, official tourist web portal, trade fair, congress, contact with travel bloggers. In Spain too, there are two famous people with handicap that make trick. They publish their experience in the blogs. Compete for awards. For example, in Spain, in Europe, there is a Access City Awards that the first one was give to a Spain city, Avila. And it's a way to promote the destination like accessible. And all these steps, it doesn't work if in a long term you have a strategy for management, the accessibility in the destination. It implies prioritizing activities and should be reviewed every 4 years. That is the period of time where it's a change of government. The public administration should allocate a part of their budget to maintain and improve accessibility at the destination. All agents should be involved and understand that their particular roles and responsibility are in accessible tourism. The public administration should create accessibility monitoring, measuring, and checking protocols for each department working with accessibility tourism. So we are going to see 3 Spanish accessible example of accessible destination. The first one is a project made by our organization. It was to the union. I don't know if you know what is the greenways. We want to make the greenways accessible for all. Providing information about the degree of accessibility. In Spain, there are 2,000 kilometers of greenways. There are all the routes where the train passes. they are being rehabilitated, I can say that, for being route for people to work in the nature. So the starting point was an existing accessible infrastructure already used by people with limited mobility. It was occasional project to adapt part of the greenways to improve accessibility. If lack of any information about complementary tourism, prior collaboration project with the Spanish Railways Foundation. This was our objective. We make the two actions. One, aim for users, which was to make a tourist guide of accessible greenways for all. We give information about the resorts adjacent to the greenways, and we choose 10 greenways from the whole that were more accessible than the others. And for the manager of the greenways, we create a system or a method to review the routes and to make adaptation for the greenways, trained to the engineering team of the Railway Foundation to training for the accessibility, to include the accessibility in the future project. This is another project that we make with the wine routes in Spain, but our web page, accessible web page. The starting point was that it was a request from the manager of the vineyards who have been visited by PREDIF in the past. Continued experience tourists deal with in the accessible greenways guide. And we have, for that project, the institutional support of ONCE Foundation and Vodafone Foundation. The wines routes is a product in Spain, and they have right now 23 accredited routes, wine routes. With this guide, tourist guide, we want to provide objective and accurate information about the accessibility of tourist resorts on the Spanish wine routes, provide examples of accessibility best practice to sector professionals, serve as a flagship for public entities in charge of tourism promotion about the degree of for retail required for the guides, as well as web page dealing with accessibility issues, promote the Spanish wine routes as accessible tourist destination, both in Spain and internationally. We choose 12 wines routes that were the most accessible in Spain. There are representing all the territory. This is the kind of, or the category of resorts that are published: accommodation, restaurants, tourist office, monuments, museum, nature, and magazine. Then this is a web page I bring for some. If you want, I can give you the guide. And it's a digital version. It's easy to read, have easy to read content, and have content in Spanish sign language. At the end, too, we have been working with the group of World Heritage Cities in Spain, and reviewing a route or itinerary in every city. And the work that we have made is in 2007 and 2011, the accessibility review of 13 routes of tourist interest and monuments of each city. And this year, we organized a lot of trainings that were participates almost 700 of the students from the tourist sector. We right now we are writing two that is going to present next month, a book that is Accessibility Best Practice Guide for the World Heritage Cities. And the next year, we've already proposed to make an application that for accessible tourists in the cities in these 50 cities. Sorry about my English about that. And this is my. You can write me to do this email. Thank you.
Thank you very much.